This is The Warrior's Journey, a podcast designed to equip, inspire, and bridge the gap between military members, veterans, their families, and our communities. The Warrior's Journey is an interactive online community where warriors and their families can find resources and encouragement to navigate the unique challenges they face, and presents the message of faith as the path to finding wholeness in everyday life. For questions, resources, and to find ways to get involved, visit thewarriorsjourney.org.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Weaver with the Warrior's Journey podcast, and great to have you back here at the podcast. We've been doing a partner series, and as we just recently have launched our new video side of things, and Mark, we want to just say thank you. We have a very special guest, Mark Burgess with the Ozark Lunkers, and hopefully I said that correctly.
You did.
All right. Yeah. And this is a pretty big deal for our local community because the Ozark Lunkers is really your dream, your vision to bring professional football in the arena style football to Springfield and to this local area. And we are so privileged and feel so honored that you guys reached out to the Warrior's Journey, and we're just excited that we get to partner with you.
As well as we,
So that's really great. So Mark, welcome.
Thank you.
Just to help the audience get to know you a little bit, tell us about, are you Springfield native? Okay.
So I was born and raised in actually Marionville, Missouri, but I've lived in Southwest Missouri all my life. Okay. Moved out one time for about 6 months, but that's it. The rest of the time I've been here. Local native, watched Springfield grow from years and years past, and so basically my background is aviation. I'm a pilot by trade, so that's what I do for my real job, and I developed that into a local charter company. I've been an entrepreneur, had multiple different kinds of businesses in town that we've had and opened or sold or done different things with over the years. So type A personality, get bored real easy, so I have to find another project. And so this is one of my latest and greatest projects I want to try to work on next. So
well, that's pretty fantastic. That's great, and I love aviation. My father was involved in aerospace and in the military side. I was in the Air Force, so you're speaking my language there.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually did do a little bit of pilot training. I was just short of my cross countries. I never really did get my license, but I had worked toward that. And then I just ran out of money.
Yeah. It's a very expensive hobby. It is. Unless you're going to do it for a living, it's a little tough to justify just to run around on. So
exactly. We started having kids, and my wife was like, "Hey,
you don't get to fly anymore." Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's really, really neat.
Yeah.
Would you feel comfortable sharing the charter name?
It's Ozark Charter Services, Burgess Aircraft Management, and Big Air Aviation. So it's a combination of basically two different companies. The charter side, which is we're what would you consider an on-demand air carrier. So we're just like the airlines in the fact that we train that way, we operate that way, we certify that way, but we're on demand. So in other words, if you want to go someplace, we can charter to you, and you fly under the same rules as an air carrier. Air carrier flies under Part 121 regulations. We fly under Part 135 regulations. Same thing, just a different version of it. So corporations, high net worth individuals, people traveling for vacations, things like that. And then we manage and operate aircraft under Burgess Aircraft Management. And then we have a sales side under Big Air Aviation that we do aircraft sales and acquisitions of corporate jet aircraft.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And so I imagine you have a pretty good fleet then of aircraft that you have to maintain, manage, and all that. So
we're operating 9 aircraft right now, 22, 23 pilots, something like that total.
That's amazing.
So have done that all my life in different variations. This particular company we've had since 2007. Trying to fill a need that happened at that time, and have been very blessed. It's worked out well, and we filled the need here in Springfield, and got a great group of customers, a great group of employees, and it's worked out really well for us.
That's great. I think that whole industry is just really fascinating too. As you see I don't know if it's saying private air carrier. I don't know. That's probably not the right term, but in that non-commercial world, but in the corporate sense. It's pretty neat. And there's a lot of probably a lot more planes out there than people.
There really is.
Imagine,
it's a world that the average person doesn't get involved in because of the cost factor involved. But it's they're all over the place. We operate airplanes all the time. We had 5 airplanes out this weekend, going different places, different people.
Wow.
Everything from business activities to vacation activities to anything in between.
That's fantastic. So thinking in terms of what you do by way in the aircraft industry or the, in that industry you just described, going to arena football, there's a story there. I'm really excited to hear about it. So what caused all that to happen? I know there's something really powerful there. So.
Well, there's always, it's always just felt like that, certain situations come up, certain doors get open. God opens doors, closes doors to the area you should be going toward or not going to. So I'm a big football fan. I've always liked football. Anything I can do to help build the Springfield economy and because retaining employees and keeping people in Springfield and keeping this an up and growing city is all very important to all businesses in Springfield, not only mine, but you need those kind of things to offer up.
So true.
The symphony and concerts and all that sort of thing. So, we need pro football in Springfield. If you want to, and I like pro football. I love pro football. I love watching football games. But if you want to go to a Chiefs game, first of all, if you can get a ticket, it's going to cost you several $100s. If you got a family of 4 and you're going to go to Kansas City and you're going to spend for the parking and you're going to spend for the $12 beers and you're going to everything else, you're going to drop several $1,000s. And that's not something the average person can justify or afford. That's not something that the average working guy can do.
Or you do it once every couple of years or something like that.
Exactly.
It's not going to be an ongoing thing. That's for sure.
You get behind it. You're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I get it. You love it. But you're probably not going to the game very regular often. So arena football has came and went over the years in a whole multitude of fashions. It still exists in a lot of different areas in a different multitude of fashions or different qualities, different types of arena football that are still out there. So our goal was we saw the announcement coming to town that arena football was coming back into this area and starting up the new Wilson's Arena. So they tore down the old Corwin Arena at the fairgrounds, built a new arena, which is a very nice arena.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Very, very great arena, great place to play. The league came in and negotiated the contract, put it all together. So my first reach was out to the original Arena League, which went, I think, either bankrupt or went out of business or something years ago. They're supposedly restarting again.
Okay.
I don't know what that looks like. But this wasn't them. This was an individual up in Kansas City who had owned some Arena League teams and was starting a new league called the Arena League and was going to do 6-man football. So everybody's always trying to tweak it, right? Make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more entertaining for the fans. That's what the goal is behind this. So ours is the first time that we'll be playing 6-man football or 6-on-6 football.
Okay.
Most of them either 7 or 8, and regular NFL games are obviously 11 or 12.
Right.
But we're also on a quarter the size of the field. So it's an arena-sized field. We have walls like hockey walls. There is no out of bounds. It's just a big rubber wall to run into, and that's where you end up. Or you end up in the seats of the fans because you go over the wall. So it's a whole different concept as far as football goes.
Yeah.
So this is 6-on-6. We've eliminated the kicker out of the package. They came into town, announced it. I reached out just to see about how I could support it. Can I, be a sponsor? I want to help make this thing go.
You were excited about it.
Was excited about it. Wanted to go see the games. Thought it'd be a really great thing to add to Springfield.
So this wasn't something you then brought in.
No.
That's how you got connected originally.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't develop this whole thing. It was the idea was that the gentleman, I think he owned a team in Iowa at one time, and he wanted to start a new league, and he's in Kansas City. So I reached out to him, and they said, well, he was planning to build the league and basically build all 4 teams himself if that's what he had to do. Not what he wanted to do. He wanted to have owners, and they do now. But at the time, they were just trying to get it established where they could get these 4 teams going. He was committed opening in the 2024 season with either all his investment or finding other people. So I'm like, okay, so who's involved down here? And he said, well, they were talking to a couple different people, but they weren't really that happy with them. One was like in Cape Girardeau and one was someplace else. And they're like, we need somebody locally. We need somebody that can get behind it. So I went up to Kansas City. I met with him, felt like we clicked on things, felt like he was doing what we wanted to see happen, and he had the same kind of goals and vision for what we want to see happen. And so that's when we just stepped in and said, okay, I don't play well with others, so I'm better off just to do this myself. And so I've had partnerships over the years, and I see different ways. I'm a type A, and I want things perfect and right and customer service to the top end. So it probably just works out better that I just did this myself. So I bought the license in Springfield to develop a team before it was called the Ozark Lunkers. I bought the right to the team.
Okay.
And then in the process, they were trying to sell the teams in the other markets as well.
Yeah. So hey, I want to get involved. hey, how about buy the team?
Yeah.
that's a great way to be involved. Now you get to kind of control things too.
Yeah. And because I didn't realize at the time if this was like, a new startup or whatever. So it is a new startup. So the opportunity is there to build this thing and to mold it right the first time.
That's
and
exciting.
Obviously the building eventually out to 12 teams or whatever, have a full-size league that's playing is the goal, the eventual goal.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting for Springfield. I mean,
it is.
I mean, because I don't know that we have anything like that on the pro side at all.
There's nothing. No,
Yeah.
no. There's some semi-pro and amateur leagues that had played off and on. There was a semi-pro team, or there was an arena team years and years ago that I think only made it a season or two. It's a hard market to do, and it's a hard market to support. That's why we need fans. We need people like yourself or other people that want to get behind us and sponsor it, because obviously the budget's there, and I'm fully prepared to fund it, but I'm not prepared to fund it at a loss for multiple years. So so the goal is we bring it in, we make it a great experience, a great family experience. You come in the door, we call it a circus wrapped around a football game. We have all kinds of activities going on outside. We have a band, we have a bounce house, we'll have giveaways, we'll have contests where you can win gift certificates. We're going to give away NFL merchandise during the game. We're going to give away a boat the first game. We've got a lot of different things planned up, celebrity appearances, all this stuff. So you come in, you have a great time, you have a great experience, you get to watch football up close and personal more than you ever could before. In a professional game, the great seats are the suites, right? They're up high and they're enclosed, and ours is the opposite. Ours are what we call the field boxes, and the field boxes are literally right on the field. So when you're standing there in your field box with your arms up on the pad, you got to keep your eyes open because you may get a football player on you before you know what's happening.
It's in your lap.
It's in your lap. If the football goes out of the stadium, which we will lose some because of the way the stadium's set up,
Sure.
then that's a souvenir. You get to take the football home with you.
That's cool.
After the game, the players, the cheerleaders, the mascots, all required to stick around and stay on the field so the fans can come out on the field, meet the players, get their autograph.
Oh, wow.
Get that.
Okay.
Get up close and personal that you can't get with an NFL team, and rightfully so. So
that's
the goal is
fantastic.
when they leave, they go like, "Wow, it was a great time. I want a gift certificate to come and go for $100. Hey, yeah, my buddy just won a signed Kelsey helmet. And, hey, I know the guy that won that boat. And then, I got my face painted, and I met Superman and all these different things. Oh, by the way, did you win the game? Yeah, we won the game too. So that's what we want to have happen. We want that level of excitement the whole time the game's going on.
That's fantastic. That is so amazing. So we're just really excited to be able to partner with you too, because there's a charity side to this
100%.
that is really kind of intriguing. And I was just, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I was blown away when you called us, and because I know that there's a heart for veterans, and we can come back to that. I want to talk about the veteran side, but talk about the other charities. Just overall, why is that charity component so important?
Well, it's always been a big component to any of the businesses I've had. Is you got to give back to the community. You've got to support charities. You got to help situations out where you can. Otherwise, why are we doing this? There's no purpose in this otherwise. So we've already started with the idea of having at least one major charity each game that we're supporting. The first game will be Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Ozarks. I think our last game is Make-A-Wish Foundation.
That's great.
I think, and then we're partnering up with you guys now during our veterans and
July 6th,
July 6th game, I think.
Around the 4th of July time frame. That's perfect, which we're super excited about.
Yeah, and so we want to have something going on each time in which we're supporting the community. The fans still get to get involved. They win a great prize. The charity goes home with some money in their pocket, and we're doing the support of the charity as well. So that's the main reason we're doing the bulk of these things right now.
I just want to say thank you, just as a citizen from Springfield who lives here and we love living here. What an amazing thing for a person like yourself who doesn't have to do that. I mean, you have a thriving business, but now wanting to build this for families and build this to make this a better place.
Sure.
I mean, it's just really exciting. And then the fact that you would be willing to tie in that whole charity aspect of it is that's pretty powerful too. So thank you. I want to say thank you from all the people that we serve. I know that they would want to say thank you personally too.
Yeah.
So we appreciate
that. Yeah.
So on the charity side, you're going to do something pretty special for each game. So the first game, you're going to be giving is it a tracker pontoon boat? Is that right?
It is. It's I'd have to go back and get, I think it's a Bass Buggy XL. I'd have to go back and get the make and model. It's a $17,900 boat. There'll be a raffle at the game. You have to be at the game to be in the raffle on this one. So basically you can buy raffle tickets to the game. Big Brothers Big Sisters will be there selling raffle tickets, and at the end of the game, we're going to give the boat away, and somebody goes home with a brand new pontoon boat.
That's fantastic.
And of course, the profits, the proceeds will go toward Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Ozarks, which is a great charity here in town. And then, like I said, Make-A-Wish Foundation, we haven't quite got the prize figured out for that one yet, and I'm pretty sure that's our last game of the season, our last regular scheduled game of the season. And then we're in the process trying to figure out the other ones we're going to fill up in between there. So that's the ones we know we've got locked in at this point.
And what are the dates of the games? Do you know those by heart by chance?
Do not have them memorized. I do not.
I know we played June and July, right?
I know we played June the 1st. Okay. I know we pull for the way the schedule worked out and the way the arenas worked out. I know we pull a bye week the first week. So we play our first game. I know we're off a week. Then I know we play our second game. And then I think we're away for 2 games, and then we're back here for 2 games. So there's 4 games at home, 4 games away. Okay. We play Kansas City, Waterloo, Iowa, and Duluth, Minnesota. And that's where the away games will be this year. And then next year there'll be a couple more of the teams added. In 2025, we're actually going this week for an announcement for another team close by. So
that's great.
They've got 2 teams slated for 2025 to be at least to 6 teams or possibly more before we start the 25 season.
So that would add another couple more home games then, I'm sure, to the at least one.
Yes and no. We'll probably still be on that 8-game season. It's just we won't play teams over again. In other words, right now we're having to play a couple teams twice because of only having 4 teams in the league.
That makes sense.
So the goal is to get probably once you get to 8 teams, now we're all playing different teams during the 8-game season. Once we get to 10, 12, then there's the possibility of expanding out the season would be from there.
That's great. So if you're listening, and especially if you're watching, I'm going to lean over and look at my producer here, Clay. We can get that schedule and we can put it up on the screen, right? Okay, we're good.
So, there you go.
So we'll have
put it back on the screen.
We'll have it down in the lower thirds here. So we'll make sure that we announce that because I know people want to do that. And then how do people get tickets? I mean, is that something they can do through a box office system, or tell us how that works?
Yeah, everything is done through the fairgrounds is done through a company called Stubwire. So stubwire.com. Easiest way is go out to our website. Our website is ozarkslunkers.com. But that's with an S. So it's Ozarks, plural, Lunkers, plural, .com. There's merchandise. We're partnered with the Greek Corner here in town. We just got our fan jerseys in, so they're up for sale. We got mini helmets. We've got T-shirts. We got hoodies. We got hats. That's all being handled by Greek Corner. You can order it up online. You can go pick it up at the Greek Corner. They can ship it to you. We've got stuffed animals coming in that are going to replicate our mascot. Which is called Lunky, which is a giant fish with a helmet on its head that'll be at all the games.
That's
and
awesome.
He's the most popular thing ever. He goes out and the kids just love hanging out with the mascot.
Right.
So you go on that same site. You can click on the tickets link. You can click on the schedule link. There's player bios up there. There's coaching staff bios up there. Everything is up on the website. You can go through our Facebook page or Instagram page. There's links on all those things to go out and buy tickets. And that's what we need people to do right now is go out and buy tickets. Are cheap. I think our bottom end tickets are maybe $15 or $20.
Oh, that's great.
The high end tickets I think are maybe $40 or $50.
Okay.
There's a range in there. But there's not a bad seat in the house. The whole stadium only seats like 6,000 people, so you're not going to be far away from anything. You'll be close up on the whole thing.
That's great. That's very affordable.
Very affordable for a family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's fantastic. And do you offer like any family packages, or it just depends on where you sit, probably?
Yeah, it really depends on where you sit. There's some VIP seating that gives you access to a lounge upstairs. There's the field boxes, which again, they're more expensive ones. Are usually corporate type things where people buy for the season. And then there's regular seating around the arena. There's obviously concessions there. Like I said, we'll have games and giveaways. We'll have a merchandise area there. But we're hoping this is something where a family can go, get out of there for, less than $100 or $150 and have a great time. It's indoors. It's middle of summer, so it's air conditioned. We're not playing outdoor football. And the 2 months we're playing is leading up to the NFL season. That was done intentionally.
That's great.
Because you get through the NFL season, people are kind of tired of football, and so the goal is
most people anyway.
Most people are, unless you want to watch USFL or whatever.
I know a few are like they go into mourning when football.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's why the USFL and everything started, because they're trying to keep that season going. And so now we're going to come in right before the camps and things to keep things going from there and try to keep that excitement going on in. And plus, get people behind it. Be a local team, kind of like we've got the Cardinals, which is
great.
Minor league to St. Louis. You can see great players.
Yeah.
These guys are high quality, high caliber players. We just signed a Division I guy a couple of days ago. We got another Division I quarterback coming on board. I mean, these guys can play, and it's not going to be dull. It's not going to be boring.
Right.
We don't have a big, massive line. We have guys that are fast and quick, and it's a running clock. So this is a high-speed game. a lot of scoring, a lot of passes, a lot of fast action. That's the goal. So you're not sitting there waiting, for these big long delays where they reset the ball and stuff. This is going to keep moving the whole time, and that's the goal. We're trying to take out the boring parts. The kickoff anymore is kind of boring because you always kick out of the end zone.
Right.
You just hand them the ball and let's go play. So we'll do a throw off where the quarterback tosses it down and basically go from there.
That's really cool. So the rules are kind of the same, but there are some nuances that make it a little bit more like hockey.
It's from
the pace standpoint.
Yeah, the pace is going to be quicker, and basically it's like a hockey wall, except there's no glass to protect you. I mean, basically,
right.
There's instances in Arena League football where fans have reached out and knocked down the pass because you're so close to the game because they're just reaching across the wall and they knock the pass down and stuff. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff that can happen.
Is that going to be legal? Is that?
Yeah, it's we haven't figured out exactly what the rule is on that. If the fan does it, how that works out. We're going to try to encourage them not to do that.
Right.
But if a guy hits a wall and comes over the top, he's going to be in the field box with you. So
that's awesome.
I mean, it's up close, it's personal. Other than that, it looks just like a football game.
Yeah.
There's no kickoffs. Once you hike back to the quarterback, he can't advance the ball. Now, what happens is once he gets the ball, he can toss it to somebody else, and then he becomes eligible, and he can take off and go downfield.
Gotcha.
So all the rules look very, very similar to regular football rules, with the exception there's less players on the field. You still got pass interference, you still got holding, you still got offsides. All this stuff looks just like a regular football game.
Kind of reminds me of what we used to do when we played in the parking lot.
Exactly, yeah, like a scrimmage game where you pick up and you got 3-on-3 or whatever. So yeah,
that's fantastic. That'll be so much fun. I'm really excited about it. Going back to the charity thing too. Just touching on the fact that I know you have a real heart for veterans and for our military members. And Mark, thank you for that. And I was just, again, honored that you would be able to recognize. And this is an opportunity for us to also bring awareness, to the whole audience. And so one of the things that you were so gracious to do is allow 2 tickets to be given to veterans that we would select as honorary guests for every game, not just that one game, but for every game. And then we're going to sponsor a gift certificate for them to get merchandise back at your store, and you're going to just basically honor those folks. And
absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about that. What makes it important to you as it relates to your personal feelings towards our veterans?
Well, I mean, obviously, anytime we talk about the veterans community, there's no way to repay any of that. So I never served. I tried to serve because I want to be a pilot. And even today, I've told my wife that if I could go fly F-15s in combat, I would do it right now. They could take a couple fingers off. I'd still go do it this day because that's the gig. When I graduated high school, we were coming out of Vietnam, so they didn't need pilots, didn't want pilots. I mean, basically, it was a whole different era where the military wasn't looking to bring people on board. So I never got into that avenue, although I wanted to. So I'm going to go all the way back to I've got an uncle who was in World War II, tail gunner B-17.
Whoa.
And got killed in, they're not really sure where, one of those MIA type things, but eventually was declared killed. All my uncles served. My dad served in Korea. Got a lot of family ties back to that. So obviously we want to keep that going. We want to honor that. That's amazing. We're finding out now what we didn't know years ago, that there's more problems the guys are coming back from that they didn't realize they were going to come back from. And I think that probably started about Vietnam era, where things got really, wired up and twisted up, and political things get involved. And no matter what your take is on that, I think all that stuff started changing the landscape. It takes a toll.
It takes a toll.
Takes a toll. So to tie back to an organization like yourselves, based here in Springfield, that are doing this, then that's a great tie back for us as well.
That's great. Yeah, and our focus is to heal those invisible wounds and
absolutely
and give them opportunities to do that. And we're seeing that on an epic scale. We're really grateful for that. And so coming alongside and bringing, it's funny. I think one of the things that we have to overcome in our own local area, I think we're more well known nationwide than we are even locally.
I think you are. Yeah.
People are like, so I didn't even know that you guys were here. And it's like, we headquartered here, but we're doing so much all around the world. So this is just a great way for I think the awareness, for the emphasis to be made. And again, thank you so much. We're really excited about that. And I know again, our biggest challenge is going to be selecting the 4 or the 2 people for each game. So that's with 4 games. So the eight individuals that will the 4 couples that will have probably an individual spouse or individual and a friend. And I know it's going to mean so much to them. I can tell you in advance. There's something about that recognition and then the honor that comes. And I know that the crowd's going to go crazy.
Absolutely,
they're going to love it, and it's just going to be a neat environment. So thank you so much. That's really great. So one other question comes to mind, and I want to make sure we get this in our time. Is to me, it's fascinating that you started this process a couple of years ago, I'm assuming. Is that right?
We actually started this probably, I don't know when I exactly met with him, but it's not been over a year ago. This has all been within the last probably 8 to 9 months.
So the work that had to
it's
go
a lot
involved.
of stuff. Yeah,
the players, and you have contracts, and these are people that are being professionally paid. And you mentioned cheerleaders too. So you've got referees and all these other. It's a big deal.
There's a lot of stuff. The more we dug into it, the more we kept going. I'm going like, okay, we're about 5 weeks away from game one, and my head's starting to spin around just a little bit. So hired a great staff, hired a local guy, Caleb Scott, who's our general manager. He was running what would be more of an amateur or a semi-pro type league for several years here in town. So he had a lot of contacts. And then Cam Bruffett, Parkview coach. Got some great history behind him, local. We're trying to hire local guys. We are going to bring a couple guys in from outside, but we're trying to get guys who got local stories, local ties.
So he's the he's the head coach?
Cam Bruffett, he's the head coach. We hired a salesperson this year that just graduated from MSU in the same area.
That's Monica?
No, that's actually Nadia.
Oh, Nadia. Okay, gotcha.
Monica has been my personal assistant for years, and she's got a college degree in sports and this type of background, so she got super excited about it. So she's become she's a minority owner of the team with me now, as well as being the VP of operations. So she's got a lot more on her shoulders than I do, because I just keep throwing it on her desk and saying, figure this out.
By the way, we have to do this too.
Yeah. So
the first game's coming up here in just a few weeks.
It is.
So are you feeling good about it? You feel like you're on track?
We're getting there. We're getting there. We obviously had to buy the field, and that showed up last week from China or wherever that stuff comes from. But artificial field, we're probably going to get some additional padding underneath it, because my coach is telling me that it's probably a little thin for what we want to have. The Arena League has a wide range of quality out there in these games, and the players will tell you that. They played on really nice fields, and they played on some really sketchy fields. And I don't want that to happen. I want to make sure they're playing on good quality turf.
Yeah.
I mean, why do I want to risk hurting my thoroughbreds?
Sure.
It's like a lot of these places, they'll feed them pizza after the game. I'm feeding them steak and potatoes. I need these guys to.
That's awesome.
They need to work next weekend. I need these guys they need to get rewarded for what they're doing out here in this kind of environment. So the field is in. The walls should be in. The dasher pads that we call them, that will go on the walls to keep the guys from running into hard plastic.
Yep.
The footballs are supposed to be here on Wednesday. I think we had to buy 70 or 80 footballs, because we think we're going to lose like 15 of them a game or 20 of them a game going into the stands.
That many?
Yeah. So you got to, because there's no nets. There's nothing to stop these balls from going in the stands.
Wow. So, boy, as a participant, I'm like, ooh, that might be really great.
It's a pretty cool deal. You get a memorial football or a souvenir football from the Lunkers for the first game. So
and a chance maybe to have it signed by the players after the game.
After the game, come down, get the players to sign it, and go back there. We've got the cheer squads done. The mascot has been here for a while. I've had him up and going for a while.
Yep.
Now we're working on the broadcast areas of it. We've got that lined up. Security, which is a big deal for me. I've got a private security firm. They'll be out there to help with the fairgrounds for fan security.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! Luckily, we don't have to take care of the ushers. We don't have to take care of the ticketing. We don't have to take care of the concessions. That all gets handled by the fairgrounds.
That's awesome.
So we'll handle the merchandise. Now we just kind of got to get the things all lined up. We've got a local radio host named Cuervo. He's going to be our infield, MC when the giveaways and the promotions and the games go on.
Great.
And then the umpires, referees are being hired by the league, and then we'll put them on the field. So there's a lot of loose ends out there to wrap up, but we're getting there. At some point in time, we'll get them there. So.
It'll all come together. I'm sure it'll be great. I tell you, I'm really getting excited about it. I definitely we'll be there.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
We'll be there on the 6th, but we're going to be there. I want to see all the games. This is going to be a really cool tradition, I think, and to know. And again, we love going to the Cardinals games. Those are great.
Yeah,
but and it's a level of professional, but this is it. I mean, this is like the top. This is you're gonna be seeing football, really played at a very high level, and even the contracts with the players. I'm sure it's like that's pretty amazing how all that comes together. And would you say that this is even potentially a feeder? I mean, will some of these guys, you think, go on to play in the NFL?
It can be. I mean, obviously, the big story in arena football is Kurt Warner.
Right.
So that's the one everybody goes back to. There's a movie out here recently about him going that way. That's the big one. There's been other people picked up as well.
Yeah.
So now there's Canadian Football League. There's, I think it's USFL. They just combined recently between the XFL and somebody else, but now that's a combined league that got picked up by a couple of, like, I think Fox and ABC maybe split that up. I'm not sure how that all works, but all these guys would like to continue on. All these guys have the capability of continuing on, or they got injured or something happened, and they're all quality players.
Right.
And they want to get video footage for people to see them playing.
Right.
And maybe they get picked up by the Canadian Football League. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just this is the way they get to finish their career out playing high-level sports. So the goal would be they get that. The good thing with us, too, is they get to play both sides of the ball. So you're not just a defensive player, you're an offensive player. So you can play both sides of the ball, and you're not just locked into, I'm just a tight end or I'm just a wide receiver. You now can be really anything we put you in. If you're a diversified player and you can do things, then we can put you out on the field in different places. And then they'll get that footage to be able to share. Their family gets to come in and see it. They get to continue on with their career.
So cool.
Guys who got good histories, good background. Our biggest thing is like social media and, your social presence. If you do something stupid, you're going to be out. I mean, if you post something stupid, you're going to be out.
Because you're wanting to maintain that whole family
integrity
idea.
and activity. Yeah,
that's so good.
It doesn't seem to work that way in the NFL. I think you can, if you're a good enough player, you can axe murder somebody and still get a job. If you're not a good player and you say something,
or if you are a high person of character, it doesn't necessarily go along.
It doesn't go along. It doesn't really seem to help you. So
it's kind of nice to bring it back to our values.
Let's get it back to the values. Let's make sure these players are solid, straight up shooting players. And if they do what they're supposed to do and they're a good member of the community, then obviously we're going to have this opportunity. They seem to all be pretty stoked to get the opportunity to play. A lot of these guys were paying to play. A lot of these guys were paying in the other league that they were involved in. They actually had to pay to support the league to be able to get to play football. And so now to get a paycheck to play, to travel on nice team buses, to have brand new state-of-the-art equipment, we're getting them some brand new 2-in-1 shoulder pads that are a new carbon fiber shoulder pad that are just kind of coming out in the market. We've got Division I quality helmets, everything else coming. Well, helmets are already in.
That's great.
These guys are stoked because they're used to playing in just whatever they could find, right, whatever they could get. So now they're getting, they're getting a lot of nice, high quality equipment, and most of these guys are pretty pumped up to get back on the field.
Well, they're going to play that way too. They're going to play at a really high level.
Play well.
That's really great.
If I dress them well, if I feed them well, if they feel like they're valued, which they are,
they're
going to play well. It's going to result out. So we say there's 4 games. We don't talk like that around when we have our team meetings or when we have our staff meetings. We basically tell everybody there'll be 6 games because if we play well enough, which we will, and if we win all the games, which we will play our playoff game here, and we'll play the championship game here.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, very good.
So all 4 teams will play. The number 1, the number 4 will play. The number 2, the number 3 will play in a playoff game the first week after the season ends, and then there'll be a championship game after that. And obviously we're going to play well enough and win enough that all those games will be here in the Wilson's Arena.
So, folks, we got you live on the air saying we are going to take the championship.
We're going to take all of it.
That's awesome.
Take all of it. Otherwise, why are we playing? I'm not playing for second place.
Good for you.
Second place is just first last. So we want first place. That's all we want.
The first loser, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's great. Well, Mark, this is really exciting. So one last question. When we say Ozark's Lunkers, I know there's got to be a story behind the logo, the name, and I always like to hear the backstory on that. So did that something that you came up with, or is that something that was inspired by you? Tell us the story behind it.
It's kind of a combination. So Arena League football is supposed to be family friendly, family fun. Mm-hmm. Most arena teams across the country you see don't have like standard names. They're not the Buccaneers. They're not the Chiefs. They're non-standard names. They try to tie them back to the local economy. Mm-hmm. And so the league had already hired a professional advertising firm that's involved in professional sports to kind of lay out what they had in mind. Mm-hmm. So when I stepped in, they'd already had a name and they'd already kind of had some logos figured out that they wanted to use.
For Springfield.
For Springfield, yeah. They already had them kind of laid out what they wanted to do. And I started getting into it, and I don't really want to tell you what the names were, but anyway, I didn't think they worked, and I thought they were not really appropriate for what we wanted. So we kind of got into head battle over it when I finally said, look, I'm not doing this. We need to do something different. So the logo we tweaked a little bit. The Lunkers was the best name. We did a contest where they went out to all the people in the area, and we had a lot of people that competed for that. And so we ended up with the Lunkers because that's a very large specimen of a fish. And if you don't fish, people don't know what that is. And so we've had people ask us, what's a lunker? So, a lunker is a very large specimen of anything. So This is football. This is the Ozarks. Our logo looks very similar or has relations toward the Bass Pro and fishing and what we have around here.
Definitely our culture.
It's our culture.
Yes.
It's what we do. We got hunting, we got fishing, we got all this stuff right in our backyard. So it ties well back. We also didn't want to be the Springfield Lunkers because we want to be regional, and that's why we said we're the Ozarks Lunkers to include everybody around this area. So we're actually got players coming from Kansas or from Jeff City. We got a player coming from Eldon, Missouri that we signed. These guys are driving in, so we've got to reach outside of Springfield.
That's great.
And so we want to include that whole area. So
Makes
that
sense.
was the best name. You can never pick a name that everybody's happy with.
Right.
You can never pick a name that somebody's not going to take offense to.
Right.
And that's what we had in some of these names. And I
So
find
you didn't want to be the Ozarks turkeys.
Exactly. I mean, can we pick out something that everybody's happy with? So Lunkers worked. We had very few people. A couple people say, well, it's just a dumb name. Like, well, I'm sorry, it's the best we can do.
Right.
And we think it fits. It works well.
I like it. I think it's really great.
I mean, I've got a mascot that's a giant 6-foot fish that looks just like our logo with a
so
tail
cool.
and a helmet on him and stuff. And he's out there, and we had a school competition with New Covenant Academy. Had some kids named him Lunky the Lunker. The dance team are the Lady Lures. So trying to tie that back. So
That's awesome.
Everything comes into that marketing and branding type thing.
Of course.
So,
Yeah, very clever.
Yeah. So Duluth is the Harbor Monsters. I'm not exactly sure how that name came. I know kind of the backstory to that. The Waterloo is the Iowa Woo. And that ties back to like trains and train whistles and things like that. And then Kansas City is the Goats. And I'm not sure, I haven't even explained to me yet where that came from. Exactly where they came up with the Goats, or it's the greatest of all time.
Right, I was thinking, we're going to be the greatest all time.
So, but they're the Goats. So it's always designed to be fun and up. You know, they don't want to be just standard type names. So
well, and the kids will just enjoy that.
the kids
so much.
enjoy it. You play
That's
off
so
of
cool.
it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this is great, Mark. Well, listen, this is exciting, and wow, what a great treat for Springfield and the Ozarks area. You know, that regional side of it. That's really, really fantastic. Man, I'm excited. I just even talking to you today. We had talked with Monica earlier about the invitation that you had for us to get involved, and we're really excited about that too. But I think there's so much more. There's a lot of dynamic, and even hearing you talk today, really for the first time in some of these other smaller dynamics, or some of the things that are going to be part of the participation in the experience.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty cool. So,
It is.
So I have no doubt. I mean, I'll be shocked if this thing just doesn't skyrocket and take off. I think it's going to be
we got to talk
fun.
about your guys' giveaway that we're going to do during that game as well.
Yeah.
About selling raffle tickets to win a golf cart.
That's right, and we're partnering with Clear Creek Golf Cart. You know, they're coming on board with us to help us with that too. So you got Bass Pro, Clear Creek's going to help us, and we're really excited about that. So somebody's going to walk away with a golf cart too. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're really, really excited.
Yeah,
So.
very good, very good.
So anything else that you want to share before we close things up here today? Just thank you for being a partner now with the Warriors Journey, and we're going to hopefully see that grow as time goes on. And who knows? Well, I do have to ask you: do you think you'll see the logo Lunkers on any of your private aircraft?
Well,
maybe on the tails.
That's what the first thing all the players want to know is when we're going to be flying to the games.
Yeah.
Now you'll be riding on a bus. You're not going to be flying to the games. I can't do that.
You're not that important yet.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we're going to have to put you on a bus. I'll put you on a nice bus, but I can't.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, I've got most of my airplanes seat 6 to 8 people, and my team is 18 guys and 4 coaches and an equipment guy. And I'm like,
that is going to work.
Yeah, that's not going to work. I can't justify that price tag at all at this point. So no, we're excited about it. We think it's going to be a great deal. We want to keep expanding. We want to keep bringing awareness for you guys. Make a joint venture all the way across. The fans are going to have a good time. Like I say, get your tickets. Go out to ozarkslunkers.com. Again, without support, without people here to support us and sponsor us, businesses want to sponsor, we want to get them involved. That's how we keep this thing paid for.
That's great.
And then again, help support charities. Glad to be able to feature your guys. If it ends up being a hard way to pick, then maybe we do a couple of them. I don't know. We can figure that out too, because I know you guys are gonna have a hard time figuring out just one or two guys.
We'll figure it out, and I guarantee that whoever's there, they'll be all of them. They're all worth the honor. And you know, I'll wrap it up with this, Mark, too. And you giving this opportunity really plays into some of our core values. We really believe strongly that to overcome invisible wounds and to sometimes it's the trauma of war, the unique challenges that military families face that most people that haven't served, it's impossible for them to understand.
Yeah.
So we really try to bring a sense of what stands in the way. It was Marcus Aurelius that said, what stands in the way becomes the way.
Yeah.
And how do you carry on that warrior ethos, moving forward? And so one of the things that I think this event and these games really, and the opportunity to be a part of the experience that you've just described is that, guys are going to go out and people will have a chance to love on these guys.
Yeah.
And they're going to receive that and they get to be part of a belonging. Isolation is our number one problem, with this. And so this is a way to get folks out of isolation, enjoying something that's going to be fantastic in a way that hopefully will just be, just refreshing and powerful. And so thank you again for you making this happen and the opportunity for you to take really your giftedness and your resources and making Springfield a better place. It's exciting.
We appreciate the work you guys do. Obviously, it's an area that we can't handle. It's something you guys handle well, and if we can support it and help people in the process, then we're 100% on board to make that work.
That's great, Mark. We're locking arms with you. It's going to be
Absolutely.
A joy. We're really looking forward to it. So thank you for listening, watching here at the podcast. Mark, we'll want to have you back.
Anytime. Glad to.
And you let us know, because we'd love to have you. So if you've got something we want to share, or if there's any new breakthroughs, you can make this we'll be your exclusive platform
make
here.
Make the Lunkers podcast down here. Yeah,
exactly. I'm sure there's going to be, and I'm hoping that the media will really get involved. And I'm sure they have already. So this is great. So, hey, watch again. We'll be giving you updates on this. There's information at the bottom of the screen. We're going to go ahead and include one more time. It's OzarksLunkers.com. And so go there, check it out, get tickets, and they're on sale now, right? And there's merchandise available. So let's get involved, let's support this, and let's make a difference in our community. So thank you, Mark. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for the time.
And thank you for being here at the Warriors Journey podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Warriors Journey podcast. Be sure to leave a review, and to ask questions, give, or get involved, visit TWJ.org today. The Warriors Journey. Warriors helping warriors heal invisible wounds.